Welcome to Northern Lights. I'm Dwain.
Mark.
And today we're going to ask, should Henry Cejudo return to the UFC? It's a difficult one with Henry Cejudo and if he should return or not, because, you know, he went on a great run and then he retired out the blue. And do you even want to see him return, Matt? Do you want to see him come back?
I did put it that way, like as in it was kind of strange though, wasn't it? Because you watched him when he was actually active. You know, he beat Demetrius Johnson, TJ Dillashaw, Dominic Cruz, Marlon Moraes, all these sort of people. And then when he beat Dominic and it became the double champ, you're just like, he just retired out of nowhere. And you never heard any rumors or anything like that. But you know what it is? As soon as he was doing his post-fight speech, and he turned to Dana and he says, "Well, that's me. I'm retired." And then you're like, "Oh, didn't expect that, but fair enough. That's like his thing." And when the vacant belt was crowned to Peter Yan after he beat Jose Aldo, Henry was already saying, like, "Well done, but I could have battered you. I could have done this. I could have done that." Yeah. At first you think, "Oh, he's just a bit of harmless trash talk," and then he appears over time to get a little more desperate, I guess. It is funny when he calls Volkanovski Alexander the Average. That is funny. I'll give him that. But yeah, you know what I mean? As in, it just seems like he's getting a little bit desperate. What do you think?
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because when Cejudo retired, like, if he genuinely wanted to retire, like you said, perfectly acceptable. Okay, he's had enough of the sport. He's double champ. That's it. He's done. But like you said, the second that Peter Yan won the belt, he was calling people out straight away. And you think, oh, okay, I get your game now. You said you retired in hopes that Dana would beg you to come back and give you loads of money. But the big problem is, he obviously wasn't a massive pay-per-view draw. Otherwise, he'd have got paid more money. And he just became double champ. So when you become double champ, you are going to get more money for that because you're going to be doing more title fights. You've got more momentum behind you. You get more fame and you are going to draw more pay-per-views. But he didn't do that. He immediately quit. And if you stopped straight away, you're not going to build that momentum. And so that's a problem. And, if he does want to come back, great. But if I was Dana White, I would not bring him back. Imagine he brings him back, lets him fight Volk for the title. He batters his champion and then retires again. You think, oh, ridiculous.
It doesn't, I don't think it makes sense whatsoever for Dana to let him come back. And I don't think he's going to do, to be honest. Like, obviously there's certain fighters that get certain privileges, but Henry, I think it's almost like he overstepped his value sort of thing. He thought that he was worth a hell of a lot more, that people have been begging him to come back, and for the right price, he would do. But now he's got to the stage of, you watch after 276, he was backstage with Sean O'Malley, who, whatever he's ranked, he isn't even in the top 10, and he's saying, "You absolutely suck." It looks like he's just chasing the dollar value.
Yeah, and Sean, I was watching him talk about it after the fact, and he said, I was just confused what was going on. He said that, I'm just upset that I've not lost my fight, that there's no contest. It's my big chance to, jump up into that top 10. I'm getting interviewed. And when if you're getting interviewed, you're in like a little bubble, aren't you? There's a camera, there's someone there, you don't know what's going on. So he was just so confused. And then he was saying Cejudo just looks fat, out of shape. Drunk and bumping into things. And that's the thing, you hit the nail on the head. Cejudo looks desperate now. It's almost like getting a little bit embarrassing. It's like, if you want to fight, come back and fight. If you don't, shut up. Make your mind up.
Well, I've seen a comment, the altercation with Sean O'Malley and Cejudo, like you were just saying then, someone commented on this, like saying, this is literally like a scene from The Office. Because there was Sean doing his interview and all of a sudden the camera turns. Cejudo isn't even next to him. He's like, way further down, just shouting, "You absolutely suck." And you're like, what are you on about? He's just desperate to get that attention. It just seems desperate, like you said, I think, anyway. And even if he does get a fight, I don't think Henry would want to fight someone who is, not lower ranked, but, maybe the number 7, whoever, just say.
If he fights Sean, what has he got to get out of that? Sean's not even in the top 10, like we've said. you know, he's probably not going to be in that top 10 for another 3-4 months, depends when his next fight is. So there's no value, apart from name value, for Cejudo to fight him. He's putting himself at risk, because if he loses to Sean, that's going to bump Sean right up, almost to a title picture straight away by beating an ex-double champ. I think what's more likely, if Cejudo returns, he'd probably fight someone like Corey Sandhagen or TJ Dillashaw. I do not think he'll go straight into a title picture if he does return.
No, well, I don't think he should either. And this is the very same night, obviously, because Volk was fighting on that card as well. He said to Volk, come close to him. He said, I think we could make something special. Volk, why would Volk care?
Yeah.
Why would he want to fight this Henry Cejudo or someone who retired?
What has Volk got to gain?
You know, you're like, no, I've got other things to. I'm going up to lightweight. You know, I'm doing this.
Yeah, pal.
So you can picture him like saying, "Oh, you're scared." You know, like in a schoolyard tactic sort of thing. And just that sort of reverse psychology, amateur stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Cejudo, I think he really did overstate his value and thought that they were too much, because it's almost sad to see now, because you remember Cejudo, we used to watch him and say,
I'm a big fan of Cejudo, or at least I was a big fan of Cejudo. I loved his title run, both his title runs. He's a fantastic fighter. And I know he's got this sort of cringy persona, but it almost feels like a character in some ways. It is semi-false, but I enjoy it. At least he's doing something, you know, when he's like, got the big rubber snake out and whacking it with TJ Dillashaw. It's so lame, but at least it's something. At least it's entertaining.
It's an act, isn't it? I mean, if you'd have stuck with that persona, maybe if you'd have stuck with that persona when he were retired, it might have been more sort of acceptable sort of thing. But now it doesn't even look like a character. He isn't playing a character. He's literally just a guy desperate for a fight.
Just looks desperate, doesn't he? Yeah. What I really liked was when he said he was going to be that he was going to be the first intergender champion and fight Valentina and stuff, you know, which I think, you know, it's really funny, you know, and it's a shame that he's gone down this path now. Because, you know, I do like that he's training people. Like, maybe that's the path for him now, is being a coach. Because, like, look, you know, he started training Zhang Weili, and look how much her wrestling improved. Figueiredo, he went and beat Marino again. You know, so he's obviously a good coach, and he really knows what he's doing. But I don't see him coming back to fighting anytime soon. But, you know, maybe Dana will do it. Maybe he'll put him against Dillashaw or something like that again, you know?
That'd be an interesting fight, actually, because TJ obviously made his comeback last year and fought Corey Sandhagen. I'm not sure if TJ's injured or something, because there isn't any talk of him having another fight, is there? But him and Cejudo would be a great rematch to make, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
If he was to come back, because, you know, you're right. I think Dana had said something like, you know, someone isn't retired and then comes back and just gets the title shot straight away, unless you're Irish.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, like, as in, if he were to come back, said
before, isn't it? Like, you know, the reason Conor did that is because he has got that big name value, so he can pretend to retire and do what he wants, you know. But Cejudo doesn't have that momentum. He doesn't have that power over it. I'm not agreeing that Conor should have that momentum and be allowed to do that. But Cejudo doesn't have any of it, so that's why he's not going to get a title shot.
Imagine if he'd have stuck as the double champ, though, and, you know, just a couple of defenses here and there at that. We'd be talking about Cejudo like we talk about Volkanovski now.
Yeah.
As in, like, he's one of the best pound for pound, you know, in the entire roster. If he'd have been able to maintain that and, you know, manage them levels of defending the title as well.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Like we said, you know, when he became double champ, if he'd have carried on fighting, he'd have got a new contract, he'd have got loads more money, but he just played the wrong hand. You know, and it's very unfortunate. And there's part of me that would like to see Cejudo return, but it's got to be against the right person. But I do think that's all we've got time for. Thanks for watching. You can like, comment, subscribe. It really does help us out.